So, you know who Steve Crowder is, man?
Oh God, I know who Steve Crowder is.
All right. So, give me your. We can build up to this shit.
I think that the best two-word description is failed comedian. That's what you need. That's sort of the locus for any understanding of
Is
Steve
my board
Crowder.
up? I need to give him this.
Is that
Say that again, Matt? One more time.
He's a failed comedian.
You got a shofar.
Yeah.
Welcome to Brooklyn.
That's really the long and short of it. He's a guy who wanted to be a comic. He was one of the voice actors on Arthur, the kids show.
Yup.
He
Have
played
you ever seen
Brain, one of the more annoying characters. I never watched it.
Have you ever seen? I haven't watched Arthur, but did you ever see the Arthur patois memes?
No, I just saw the fist.
Yeah, but it's a fist, but it's like where my patty. And then there's also like vulgar Arthur.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't repeat those.
No.
I'm just catching myself in mid.
It's frankly disturbing what people would do with wholesome children's entertainment.
You know, it actually legitimately is, because unlike, Bill Frist, we're not like animal killers. We have a sense of decorum and decency.
Though that's for the children. We don't want to ruin it.
That's exactly right.
But so he's basically, and then after that, or I guess at the same time, he wanted to be a comedian. And he's awful. He's not funny in any way. But he discovered that the barrier for entry and the quality, sort of the expectation of quality for conservative comedians is much lower than for comedians writ large, because it's a narrower pool of talent. It's a more specific audience, and they're really there. They're there ready to laugh because they want to laugh at the libs. So it's really kind of shooting fish in a barrel to get them to laugh. And it's
like, hey, ladies are going into guys' rooms. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Hey, Colin Kaepernick, folks, how about play the game?
Right.
The great irony of this is that, I mean, it's sort of like all of the things with these people. It's like, in order to have some modicum of like success, which is what I basically like, the just ability to do this, any type of work like this from like a left perspective and be in like commentary or entertainment or whatever, actually does require something. I don't want to like, self-claim talent or anything, but there isn't just an endless pool of like old sociopath money raiding around for us. Like, like, oh, you're a young man who does comedy. You want to go on YouTube and explain why Puerto Ricans shouldn't have health care? Here's $10 million. That is the path if you're a Republican, quote unquote, comedian.
Yeah.
Whereas like people like us, ironically, actually have to like muscle our way into the free market.
Yeah.
Way more than, like a Crowder.
It's kind of funny because guys like him rail against the liberal media, but the liberal media, to the degree that it exists in terms of entertainment broadly as opposed to news.
Right.
And I think that I don't think you can argue that that's not the case. I mean, all the people on late night basically are all hashtag resistance people. As a result of that, as you say. Well, no, Fallon's he's a non-combatant.
Like, whoa, that's a little edgy.
Yeah.
Don't call a kid in a wheelchair a retard loser. Hey, man, I don't take sides on this stuff.
Yeah. But because of that, the competition's more, and you have to sort of get by on your merits. It's such a smaller pool that guys like him, they should really thank their lucky stars, because if it was more of a conservative, mainstream comedic pool, he would never have gotten anywhere. And I mean, he barely has gotten anywhere as it is.
Well, he's gotten to YouTube, and this is a good. So we're gonna work, and this is gonna be in a sort of run up and a crescendo in a pyramid segment. Matt, on a while ago on Majority Report, I said that Robbie Mook should be locked in a pyramid, and people started tweeting at me like, "Who else should be?" And so that has become a segment on this show where we put on some good culturally appropriated Egyptian music and lock people in a pyramid. So that is going to, But this guy is so rich. No, we don't need to do it yet. That he's such a just synergy of everything that's wrong that we're going to take some time on this. Is this him? This is him, I believe.
Oh, that's him.
Is this? Oh, that's him.
Oh, I know.
Is this the Kaepernick one, or is this the? This is the Okay, this is Steven Crowder, who, by the way, if you go to his YouTube channel, and this is the other thing that's amazing, modern right-wing punditry makes you fucking, on some sick level, have a respect for a guy like Rush Limbaugh, because Rush Limbaugh learned his trades like, you got to go and you got to make up a lie about like labor unions or the minimum wage or something, and then you go and you make up a fake statistic, and then you kind of like riff on that lie, right? In today's world, you can just be like Alex Jones, where you just make up an alternative universe for yourself. Or if you're Steven Crowder, where is that coming from? Every video on his channel is like, Amy Schumer's getting paid too much for a Netflix special, or, here's some racist on YouTube to explain like how to get chicks and why liberals don't like science.
The other ones is he takes any opportunity, regardless of how flimsy, to wear women's clothing. He loves that. He does this thing where he'll dress up like a woman to go at the bathroom at a Planet Fitness or something, or he'll just run around in a sundress with his penis out.
Right. So he's like one of these like really, really trans and homophobic guys.
Yeah, this is what
to be like singularly obsessed.
That's one of my favorite things. Right. I follow him on Twitter, and I'll just put like dumbass comments on whenever he tweets something, and that's one of my favorite things. Say, hey, can you dress up in drag? I really love that shit.
Well, he does too. He clearly really loves it. He's never freer or happier than when he was dressed up like that.
Right. We can all. Well, one time I remember I was talking to Max Blumenthal many years ago, and we basically just said like all political divisions just come down to like, can we like which side is more chill about people's sexual and dressing proclivities, which has some truth to it. And so here's Steve Crowder, who all he does is wear dresses and culture war, complaining about Kaepernick. And of course, now let's always, if you're joining Kaepernick because #resistance fuck you, Kaepernick started this because of systemic murder of black people. I just always like to note that. But let's get to Steve Crowder with some brilliant insight on why everything is political.
ESPN, Variety, GQ, Esquire, we've talked about this. It is the politicization of everything while acting as though it's not. You want proof? Let me give you proof. CNN, I actually read this weekend. They have, I don't know if you call it like a column. It's something that happens every single weekend. Yep. And it's called What Happened This Week in Anything But Politics. So it's called In Anything But Politics. And they make sure to even under the header to say what happened that's not political. In Anything But Politics is what it's called. What was the first thing they listed? Politics, diversity at the Emmys. This isn't anything but politics. And the left, and you see this is what they say, right? It's not political. Kneeling at the national anthem. Yes, it is. Diversity at the Emmys. Well, what? Don't you support diversity at the Emmys? No, I support people running the best shows getting awards at the Emmys. So what they do is they try and separate. That's politics, right? This is micro politics. This is congressional. This is 42nd district.
This is Bill 402.
And this is just a social movement. What, are you against the social movement for change? It's all politics. The left has turned everything into politics, and people are sick of it.
Wow.
Okay. Have that at first, man.
He's like if Billy Eichner had been in the Hitler Youth for a while. He's Billy Third Eichner.
But a guy who builds his entire... I mean, this is the Republican game, right? All they have for anybody that makes under, like, at least $500,000 a year. And even if you're at that point, like, not really, right? Like, you have to be in the sort of, like, actual wealth bracket. Not like, oh, I can lease a BMW. But, like... I own several of those dealerships is the low end of what they have for you. And that's like the actual policy agenda. We will build an entire policy apparatus simply to give you a tax cut on, your couch change and make sure your kids can inherit money and despoil the earth with their trust funds. All the quote unquote normal people have is culture war stuff and white identity politics. Yeah. Which is what allows this guy to have a career. And then anything that isn't like the flag or Amy Schumer's a bitch or whatever, that all of a sudden is politics and spoiling these things that we should just enjoy as Americans.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me about people complaining about the protests at NFL games injecting politics into the game. First of all, they only started... having the players come out and stand for the national anthem less than 10 years ago part of a package deal they made with the Pentagon,
Yep.
where the NFL is getting paid to promote the military. And games start with flyovers and troops on the field, and they don't register any of that as politics. And basically, they're insisting on a world where their vision of how things should be is not just right, but so far outside of debate that it isn't even in the realm of discussion, which is what politics is. Politics is that which we disagree about. And for them, their world is one where it's outside of those bounds. This is beyond discussion. Things like the flag, what the flag means, what the military means, are outside of political discussion. And so questioning them as politics, but reifying them all the time, every Sunday for 3 hours at a time, is not politics.
Right, but that's the funniest part of that clip to me, is that there's one where he says the left makes everything politics. That's the only intelligent thing that he said, and of course he said it inadvertently. And it's like, because yes, literally every single thing you're articulating is politics.
Hi folks, Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos